The phone lit up on the kitchen counter at 2:17 a.m. Not a message, a call. No name, just a number that didn't belong to me or her. I was rinsing a glass. The water kept running. I watched it overflow, watched the light tremble across the surface like it was trying to warn me. The phone vibrated again, longer this time, insistent, familiar in a way that made my stomach tighten. She was asleep down the hall, or pretending to be. I didn't answer. I let it ring until silence reclaimed the room. Then I turned the screen over, face down, as if that could put the sound back inside the device, as if that could rewind the moment. My pulse stayed slow. That scared me more than panic would have. Another vibration, a voicemail icon appeared. I imagined a voice on the other end, confident, careless, already certain of access. I imagined how often that voice had been heard in this house when I wasn't around. I dried my hands. I didn't listen yet. Some truths don't need sound to announce themselves. They arrive fully formed, heavy, certain. I stood there in the dim light, listening to the hum of the refrigerator, the distant rhythm of her breathing, and I understood something with terrible clarity. Whatever that call was meant to say, my life had already shifted, quietly, irreversibly. In the morning, she smiled like nothing had happened. Coffee poured, toast burned, small talk floated between us, carefully measured. She touched my arm when she laughed, a familiar gesture, automatic, rehearsed. I watched her mouth instead of her eyes. I wondered how many mornings had started like this after nights I never knew about. The voicemail was still there, untouched. I didn't listen. I didn't need the details yet. Details can distract. I needed patterns. Her phone stayed face down now, a new habit. She took it with her everywhere. Bathroom, shower, even the mailbox. Trust doesn't shatter all at once. It fractures, hairline cracks spreading beneath the surface while everything still looks solid. I replayed moments I'd dismissed before. Late meetings, sudden trips, the way she'd stopped asking about my day and started volunteering too much about hers. Over-explaining is a confession disguised as conversation. At night, she slept facing away from me. Her body formed a boundary I hadn't agreed to. I stared at the ceiling and counted breaths, mine steady, hers uneven. I told myself I was wrong. I told myself stories I'd told others before, about loyalty, about partnership, about how suspicion corrodes what love builds. But denial requires energy, and I was conserving mine. I became observant, not angry, not reckless, precise. I checked phone records while she showered, not messages, calls, patterns again, a number that appeared too often, always late, always brief, the kind of calls meant to confirm, not converse. I watched her when that number appeared on the screen, a micropause, a breath held too long, the smile that came half a second late. I scheduled a paternity test under the guise of a routine medical check. She joked about my paranoia. I smiled back, perfectly timed. At work, I requested access logs. I wanted to know when she left early, when she arrived late. Data doesn't lie. People do. Every discovery slid into place with unsettling ease, like the truth had been waiting for me to stop looking away. Externally, I was calm, attentive, loving even. Internally, I was inventorying damage. I listened to the voicemail one afternoon, alone in the car. A man's voice, relaxed, familiar. "Hey, you okay? You left before I woke up." No names, no caution. Certainty is careless. I deleted it, not out of mercy, out of control. Evidence preserved elsewhere, mind sharp, hands clean. By the time she noticed my silence, I already knew everything that mattered. The results arrived on a Tuesday. I read them once, then again. Then I sat very still. The child I'd been raising wasn't mine. Biology is efficient, brutal, unemotional. That night, I set the report on the table between us. No preface, no accusation, just paper. She read it. Her face emptied. Silence stretched. She reached for words and found none that could survive the moment. "I can explain," she finally said. I nodded. Not permission, acknowledgement. She cried, broke, apologized in fragments, blamed loneliness, distance, a mistake that lasted years. I watched, detached, curious. When she finished, I asked one question. "Does he know?" Her eyes answered before her mouth did. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't insult her. I told her I'd already spoken to him, that I'd sent the results, that I'd explained timelines, that I'd removed myself from the equation entirely. Her breath caught. Panic finally surfaced. I told her the house was sold, quietly, efficiently. Contracts signed weeks ago. She hadn't noticed. People rarely do when they think they're in control. I told her custody would be simple, clean. Legal truth has weight. She begged then, promised change, love rediscovered too late. I stood. "I didn't lose you," I said. "I outgrew the lie." I walked out while she collapsed inward, the sound of her regret chasing me down the hallway and failing to keep up. Months later, I sleep well, not because I'm healed, but because I'm awake. I don't replay conversations. I don't imagine alternate endings. There's no justice in fantasies. The truth did its work, quietly, thoroughly. Some losses don't leave scars, they leave space. And in that space, I learned something simple and unforgiving. The moment trust dies, love becomes irrelevant. I didn't destroy her, I just stopped protecting the illusion she lived inside.